Hey, hello, howdy, how you doing? Over the past few weeks, I've been going back and replaying all of the Galactic Conquest from Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2005 one, not that god-awful re-release they put out like a year ago. The catch to all of this is that if I die, I had to restart the entire Galactic Conquest. Anyway, we successfully pushed through the droid armies, squashed the rebel scum, and then entered an alternate reality where the droids overwhelmed the clones, which means there's only one conquest left to beat. So today, we'll be embarking on a journey to finish what we started, and complete the Birth of the Rebellion Galactic Conquest. The same rules will apply. I have to beat it on Elite difficulty, and if I die, I have to restart the entire Galactic Conquest. The only plug I have for this video is that on Sunday, December 1st, I'll be doing a massive stream right here on YouTube, where I sit down and try to complete all 4 Galactic Conquests, following the same rules outlined in the videos. There's also ways for you, as the viewer, to fuck me over, such as forcing me to not use any bonuses, only using the default weapons, so no award rifle or precision pistol, and just outright starting an entire Galactic Conquest over, so be sure to tune in for that. Alright, without further ado, let's go double tap some stormtroopers. You may be a bit shocked to hear this, given how many attempts the previous run-throughs took, but for the Rebel playthrough, I managed to complete the entire conquest in just my second run. Even on the initial run, I was able to make it pretty far, and only died once I made it to Felucia. On to the full run though, because it's actually much more interesting. Mainly because I started with Polis Massa. I know they start you over on Yavin 4, but to me, it made more sense to start by Hoth and work my way up and over, instead of starting basically smashed in between several planets. I think most of this playthrough can be summed up by saying, I played it safe. And Polis Massa was no exception. I started out the fight by hopping into a tank and putting in some work against the stormtroopers out in the void. Once I felt satisfied with that, I drove back through the airlock and began firing rockets down one of the hallways, spawn killing the stormtroopers at the expense of a few rebel lives. Once it was clear that the rebels held the advantage here, I drove over to the far back command post and
I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
This effectively sandwiched the stormtroopers between me and the rest of the rebel forces.
We captured a command post. They're losing reinforcements.
Funny enough, after I captured this back command post, I was AFK writing marker notes for when I go back to edit all of this, and in that time, the stormtroopers came back through and recaptured it, forcing me to have to fight back and take it away from them yet again.
We captured a command post. Hostile reinforcements.
After only a few more minutes of this, we were able to capture all of the command posts and simply wait out the timer for victory while the stormtroopers fucked around outside. Next up was Utapau. It was either that or Mustafar, and I wasn't ready for Mustafar yet, considering the only class I had was the basic rebel infantry. I'd feel much more confident once I had the smuggler. But Utapau is a great map to just run around as a normal soldier, so it made more sense for me to go there first. Normally, I'd hang right and sit in that lane for most of the fight, but for whatever reason, I decided to go left and head down into the more open area of the battlefield. This ended up working out for the best, since the stormtroopers just kinda wandered in through the open, while the rebels opted for cover of the left-hand side, even capturing both command posts down there.
We gained a command post. That's okay. I'll let you shoot them all.
It took less than a minute for me to earn the award rifle, and once I got that, the battle might as well have been over with then. The only weird thing to happen during this fight was that we steamrolled the lower level, and I thought that was indicative of our battle strategy, only to open the map and see that the stormtroopers had basically done the exact same thing, but on the upper level. Coincidentally, this is where all their tanks were, too. Luckily, they didn't really make much of a difference, because we could just spawn kill the enemy at this point. After starting off strong with 2 planetary wins, we now found ourselves in the first space battle of the playthrough. The Empire had finally made their way over to Yavin 4, but I was more than ready for them. That being said, I hate the Y-Wings. They're my least favorite bomber. I don't know if that's just the design and how they look, or the fact that they drop their bombs in 2-round bursts, but I'm not a fan. It's not a huge deal though. They do have some strengths like the massive range boost on their bombs compared to like the droid bomber, so I took full advantage of that and targeted things like the destroyer's life support systems and engines from the outside. I'm hesitant to try to land in a hangar though. Much like the clones, the stormtroopers have a significantly smaller hangar than what I'm used to, so it's very likely that the interior would be completely covered in enemy pilots. This was a really close space battle though, all things considered. I was able to destroy basically every component on the enemy ship and still had to rely on our pilots to win some dogfights to close it out. Much like how I handled things with the previous Galactic Conquest, I would keep a fleet over Yavin 4 for the entire duration of this playthrough. Mainly because I didn't want to fight on Yavin 4. The only time I played on it as the quote-unquote good guys, I had to fight for my life in a last stand against like 30 droids, and I'm not too sure I'd be able to pull that one off again. After winning the first space battle, I went ahead and bought a smuggler class and some Bacta tanks, though I'd need to wait to use them considering the Empire initiated a second space battle. This time, however, I used the landing cruiser. Big mistake. Huge. This thing sucks. I thought it was going to be similar to the droid one, but no. It's got a finite amount of missiles, and they do next to no damage to enemy frigates, so it took forever just to bring 2 of them down. Not to mention how clunky this thing feels when you're maneuvering with it. Luckily, I managed to land it in the enemy hangar without killing everyone on board, and used the initial confusion we caused to slip through and begin working on the ship's interior controls.
Has been destroyed. Their engines have been destroyed. Our sensors array has been destroyed.
To my surprise, this went much better than expected. Probably because they were so preoccupied with the dipshits who'd just been ballsy enough to land in the hangar, but I don't care. A win's a win. And what better way to celebrate a win than by invading another country, or in this case, planet, I guess. Naturally, most of the fighting is going to take place in that main war room area, so that's why I wanted to wait until I had the smuggler class. Most of my time was spent holding this one door right here. Oh, also, I don't know why, but I chose to fight most of this battle in first person. Just seemed cool at the time. Anyway, it didn't really matter what I did here, if I held the main room, pushed up the stairs, or pushed out near the lava. Anywhere I posted up, I'd sweat my ass off only to see us losing when I checked the scoreboard. That was, however, until I mounted a suicide mission and charged directly into the bulk of the enemy forces, killing well over 20 men and capturing several command posts.
Just don't know it.
This ultimately ended up flipping the battle and ending with us securing Mustafar for the Rebel Alliance. Now, having lost 3 planets and 2 fleets, the Empire decided to invade Dagobah. From what I remembered when I fought here as the Empire, they just lose outright. Call it bad spawn points or whatever you want, but it's very rare that they win here, so I used that to my advantage. The race was to capture Command Post 6 early, and begin spawning soldiers on their flank. While they scrambled to recover, I could retreat and heal up.
We captured a command post. They're losing reinforcements. We've lost control of a command post. About that. We control a command post. They're losing reinforcements.
By that point, we were already building a small but comfortable lead. Now all I needed to do was hang back, kill some stormtroopers who overextended, and rely on the rebel soldiers to carry their weight and win me a battle. If this game's taught me anything though, it's that you can never rely on your teammates. We lost the lead by the time I made it back to the fight, and not just the lead, but the command post that I damn near sacrificed myself trying to capture. All this to say, I put on my big boy pants and marched back in, almost single-handedly retaking the command post and solidifying a strong lead for us to carry through for the rest of the battle. Well, at least until their garrison kicked in. Not that it mattered though, I was still able to hold the swamp by Luke's X-Wing and find the last stormtrooper attempting to capture a command post.
We've lost a command post. Hostiles have captured a command post. We're taking heavy losses.
With the credits received from the last 2 victories, I purchased the Sniper class and Enhanced Blasters. It'd be some time before we got to use any of them though. For now, it was on to Naboo. Naturally, we're at a pretty huge disadvantage considering we get the infamous corner spawns. The only way I could think to get around this was to be overly aggressive at the start. I spawned in the courtyard and successfully repelled the initial advance. As soon as I saw an opening, I sprinted face first into the enemy, capturing their closest command post. By this point, we'd already lost the courtyard, but that's okay. We could use this to continue looping around the backside, boxing the stormtroopers to the fountain spawn and taking their tanks. It was around this time where I got incredibly lucky. I might even say this was the luckiest moment in the entire series to date. While taking this command post, an engineer spawned behind me, without noticing. He managed to land half of his first shot, but completely whiffed his second shot, which would have easily killed me. The miss here allowed me to react and kill him, along with a few other stormtroopers, before successfully taking the command post and taking away the enemy tanks. Unfortunately, we were just a bit too slow, and the Empire had managed to capture the courtyard. allowing them to continue spawning in. Even with that, I stuck to the plan and captured the Fountain command post, further squeezing the Empire. This played directly to our favor though, as the Empire grabbed the infamous corner objective, allowing them to spawn and get stuck over there instead of us, all but sealing their fate.
We can't afford to keep losing command posts. Work on that turret. The enemy has captured a command post.
Looking at the galaxy map, we control 7 of the 13 planets required for victory. But at a closer look, I think it's a bit misleading. We have to go grab planets like Endor, Coruscant, Kashyyyk, all of which we just win outright. The only places I'm worried about are Megiddo and Felucia, since they've always given me the most problems. I'll worry about that in a minute though. For now, it's another space defense battle. This was probably the toughest space battle of the entire series. It took several minutes just to blow up the enemy frigates, and even then, I had to constantly dodge laser cannon fire and drop back to the rebel cruiser to keep making repairs.
Bomber, on your tail. TIE bomber, behind you.
Their frigate has been destroyed.
After finally landing in the enemy hangar, I was immediately swarmed by hostile pilots. Fun fact though, as many of you were keen to point out in previous videos, you can actually heal up from behind these walls right here instead of standing on top of the machine itself. It just provides that little extra cover for you. And this was just something I've kind of learned to get used to though. The moment you enter any enemy hangar aside from just the droids, you're practically begging to get bent over the auto turret system.
Their auto turret defenses have been disabled. Line them up and knock them down. Our frigate has been destroyed. Their life support systems have been destroyed.
Luckily, I was able to push through and destroy both the enemy life support and engines. With their interior crumbling, I headed back out to the hangar to finish off any remaining pilots.
We are under attack. This is not a drill.
We won!
Yes, sir!
Want to hear something incredibly depressing? I'm 10 credits short of being able to recruit Bothan spies. What a shame. To add insult to injury, I decided to invade Felucia, only to have the Empire pull out the garrison bonus on me. It's like, alright, I'm already gonna be in a last stand against 20 stormtroopers, why not add 50 more, right? What's the worst that could happen? Well, with that in mind, I did the same thing I did with the droids, which was sit on top of this hill with a sniper rifle and pick off easy targets while I wait for all of my reinforcements to get fed through a wood chipper. That's not even an exaggeration either. Like, it took less than 2 minutes for us to lose all of our command posts aside from the hill, and less than 3 minutes to be at a 30 soldier disadvantage, without the garrison. in less than 6 total minutes, we were already down to our final troops, which means it's time for the final stand. Luckily, I have main character syndrome, so let's get to it.
Our reinforcements are being depleted. The enemy has captured a command post. Our reinforcements are being depleted.
Line him up and knock him down.
Yeah, that showed him.
Their forces have deployed a reinforced garrison of troops.
By the time the defense of Hamburger Hill wrapped up, there were 7 stormtroopers left on the map. Make that 6. So I fell back on the tried and true method of hopping in a tank and hunting them down. Well, that was what I would have done if there wasn't a fucking AT-ST camping me outside of the C4 range. Now, I did notice that we had 1 more reinforcement left, all the way over at Command Post 1 in a tank of their own, or so it looked. Since I didn't have much of a choice, I dipped out and began making my way over to them.
You're going the wrong way.
I'm gonna be honest, I have absolutely no fucking clue how this thing's still standing. Talk about an insane amount of luck. And speaking of luck, I just so happened to be a smuggler with a repair tool on me, which meant we were able to fully recover and together begin hunting down the remaining stormtroopers who, for whatever reason, all love to congregate at the same command post as snipers. With the snipers taken care of, I swung back over to finish the AT-ST off, and with that, we've got a 74 kill victory and complete control over the most difficult planet in this entire fucking game. As a way to celebrate our victory, I went ahead and purchased the Bothan Spy before moving our ship into attack position over Kashyyyk. Unfortunately, we'd have to wait to show off the Bothan Spy as the Empire moved in on Naboo, meaning it's time for yet another space defense battle. This was another gritty fight, and if I'm being honest, I think the Rebels are my least favorite faction to play as in space battles. I don't know if the ships just suck that much, or if the Empire is simply too powerful, and I think it's the latter. Mainly because they've got like a dozen turrets on their destroyer, so it's damn near impossible to do any bombing runs unless you're way out of range. Regardless, I was once again able to get in, fight my way through the hangar and into the life support room. And from there, I blew up their life support systems, their auto defense turrets, and their engines.
Our communications relay has been destroyed. defenses have been disabled. Their engines have been destroyed. Our frigate has been destroyed. Our bridge has been destroyed.
After surviving a near-death experience, I noticed their shields were still up, so I ran into the shields room and began placing bombs on it.
Their shields have been disabled.
With the shields destroyed, all that was left for me to do was keep the remaining pilots occupied by blasting holes in their heads.
We won! Yes!
Now we march on Kashyyyk, or rather, liberate it from a defensive position, because why the hell not? As much as I'd love to show off the Bothan spy here, this isn't the battle for it. There's too much open cover, and they work way better when you have obstacles. For now, I'll stick to anti-armor cannons and sniping, thank you very much.
I'll let you shoot.
We've lost control of the command post.
It's like shooting warp rats, eh, kid?
Their forces have deployed a reinforced garrison of troops. We control the command post.
Unfortunately, due to the garrison bonus, I ran out of ammo and was forced to swap over to the beam rifle, choosing to make the ultimate sacrifice for the good of the rebel cause. I know. I am very brave.
The enemy is in control of another command post. We can't...
I did take a very unnecessary run here and dove into a tank to finish off the final stormtroopers. Definitely didn't need to do that, but I was so tired of hearing the laser cannons go off that it was worth the risk. All that's left in the lower portion of the galaxy is Tatooine, and the Empire is doing everything in their power to make it as annoying as possible to take. Of course, by that I mean they keep fucking invading Naboo. There's not even anything cool there. The only hot chick on the planet died in childbirth, so that leaves, what, the Gungans? Darth Jar Jar? The infamous corner? What could they possibly want with this planet?
Back in the game.
You want to see some absolute bullshit? The fuck is up with friendly AI pilots and trying to kamikaze me? Regardless of my own team's attempts to stop me, I was able to successfully land in the enemy hangar and begin dismantling the ship from the inside out.
Scramble all reinforcements.
Roger that. 10-4. Affirmative. Life support systems have been destroyed. We won. Yes, sir!
It's time, boys. I figured, what better place to try out the Bothan spy than on a planet like Tatooine? First, I need to get enough points to unlock them though, so let's get to it.
Hey, cover!
We captured a command post. Enemy reinforcements are declining.
These guys are elite. Think like a rogue in classic WoW. They've got a stealth ability that fully cloaks them from sight, an incinerator that just full-on deletes enemies before they even know what's going on, and the ability to regenerate health from nearby allies. This can be paired with back-to-tank bonuses, making you damn near invincible. Now with all that being said, they are a lot of fun as something to mix up your playthrough, but they're not really my cup of tea. I don't mind them at all, I just prefer to do something a bit more action-packed and hands-on instead of hiding and waiting in stealth.
Reinforcements are dropping. We captured a command post. They're losing reinforcements. We've gained a command post. They're losing reinforcements.
I'm taking you down, plastic boy!
The only problem with this attack is that it left Yavin 4 undefensible. Well, I guess it's only fitting that we duke it out here one last time. The Imperials opted for combat shielding, while I went with a garrison bonus. The plan was simple though. Sit right here and wait for the enemy. Snipe them at first, then swap to infantry for the burst rifle. As a last resort, move to the smuggler for healing. Yeah, even after deploying the garrison, we were still outnumbered by over 30 reinforcements. I tried to get a few kills in, but it just wasn't worth the risk, so I fell back and waited patiently. A friendly reminder that we had a garrison, and this was still the outcome. Remember back during the Empire, I think it was, or maybe it was the droids, but do you remember back when I had that huge last stand on Felucia, and I was like, this might be the best play I've ever had? I take it back. This is the best feat I've ever accomplished in Battlefront 2.
That's okay. I'll let you shoot them all.
taking heavy losses.
Using the Bothan Spy, I was able to go invisible, grab tanks, and slowly but surely begin dismantling the enemy armor. And when I say slowly, I mean slowly. This exchange took several minutes to pull off because I'd have to go hide and reset every single time. But over the course of about 10 minutes, I managed to pick apart the enemy tanks until there was only one left. At this point, I was fully out of my own tanks to use, so I had to rely on my time bombs. And I think this is why everyone loves this game. No matter your playstyle, no matter how good or bad you are at the game, everyone can find themselves in a last stand moment like this. And there's nothing quite like it. Like, no other game can replicate the adrenaline or the dopamine that you get just from winning something like this. It's something that I would say it's akin to like a once-in-a-lifetime battle, but it's not, because it's Battlefront 2, and this happens once a playthrough, maybe. And I just love it so much. And I think that's why a lot of people view this game as one of the best. Alright, I'm starting to ramble. Sorry. With Yavin 4 successfully defended, I purchased a new fleet and began the Megiddo invasion. Now, this was an absolute cakewalk, much like it has been for the majority of the series. I just did what I always do and hopped in a tank. While the Rebel tank primary weapons kinda suck against infantry, the missile launcher that comes duct taped to the top of it certainly makes up for it.
We gained a command post. Hostile reinforcements are dropping. The enemy is in control of another command post. Enemy reinforcements are declining.
On the sides!
Enemy reinforcements are declining.
Oh wow, I can't believe it. Another fucking space battle over Naboo. Jesus Christ. At this point, I was convinced that a space battle would be the death of me. I'm honestly just not enjoying them anymore at this point. I'm dreading having to play them, and it sucks, because this is the only time in my experience revisiting Battlefront that I felt this way. Anyway, I spent most of my time taking out the frigates and blowing up all the defense turrets of the ship's exterior. This would obviously make it a tad easier to hit the core systems, but we'd still have to deal with all of the TIE fighters. One of the biggest pain in the asses of the playthrough, without a doubt. With Naboo defended, it's time to once again go on the offensive. This time over to Coruscant. I like to think the Empire could feel us closing in around them. Like, there's 2 planets left, and I'm incredibly confident going into both, so let's get this done. I tried something different this time, and bum rushed the center of the map instead of along the flanks.
The enemy is in control of another command post. We've gained a command post.
Take cover. Can I borrow some of your midichlorians?
The enemy has captured a command post.
About that. Yeah, that showed up.
After holding the stormtroopers to their hallway, I looped around and pushed through the library. This continued up through the archives and into their original spawn before squeezing them into a side command post and ultimately walking away victorious.
Hostile reinforcements are dropping. We gained a command post. Hostile reinforcements are dropping.
Funny enough, this beat out that Kashyyyk speedrun from the CIS conquest, coming in at under 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Speaking of Kashyyyk, the Empire finally decided to attack somewhere not named Naboo. Can't imagine it'll do much for them, but fuck it, let's see. Much like last time, I did the tried and true method of tank busting and then swapping to my sniper.
How do you like that?
When I was low on ammo though, instead of swapping to the beam rifle, I jumped down into the sand and pushed back the stormtroopers on foot, ultimately securing another victory for the cause. For whatever reason, the Empire decided to dodge a space battle instead of defending their last planet in the galaxy, which was certainly a strategy of all time. If that's what they want to do though, I'm not going to stop them. Now the best way to secure Endor is to simply tell all the furries that the newest Rainforest will be taking place there. They'll inevitably show up and start destroying the planet's inhabitants, and all we have to do is sit back and watch. With the battle winding down, a rogue hero entered the fray to help secure a final victory for the Rebel Alliance. Just kidding! As it turns out, you don't win fully until every last trace of your enemy is disposed of, which means, congratulations, you get one final bonus battle on Megiddo, thanks to the Imperial destroyer crash landing there.
Hostile reinforcements are dropping. We've lost the command post. We've lost the command post. Hostile reinforcements are dropping. We control the command post. Enemy reinforcements are declining.
Alright, now we've officially secured the final victory needed for world domination. Here are my overall stats at the end of our glorious run here. Throughout 4 Galactic Conquests, we managed to rack up 7,102 player points, achieving us the rank of General. We're responsible for the deaths of 3,712 individuals, achieved Legendary status in Guardian, Endurance, and War Hero with Elite status in Frenzy. Overall, a very decorated and well-respected career if I do say so myself. With that, thank you all so much for watching. This has been some of the most fun I've ever had as a YouTuber, and I have all of you to thank for that. I'm sure some of you are wondering, what's next? Does he go back to his normal content, or does he continue with throwbacks? Well, I can safely tell you that I've already begun recording for the No Deaths campaign run, and have plans to revisit the original Battlefront 1, along with KOTOR and KOTOR 2, all 3 of which I've never played before. If you have any other games you'd like me to go back and play or do some challenges on, send them my way. I know there's a few comments asking about KOTOR and Mass Effect, so let me know because that's the best way to gauge feedback from you all. That being said, I do really appreciate all of the support throughout the past few weeks here. My channel's gone up over 10,000 subscribers in under 10 days, which is just insane to think about, so welcome to all the new subs. I promise I'll try my best to keep you entertained. With that though, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you all, watch those wrist rockets, and thanks for stopping by.